Picture this. You're strolling through a bustling market, the air thick with the scent of fresh spices and sizzling street food, when your eyes catch a vendor hawking intricately carved wooden boxes, each one promising to hold your secrets, your treasures in timeless elegance. Your heart quickens, that subtle thrill building as you imagine it perched on your shelf, a small upgrade to your everyday life. But then, across the way, you notice her, a woman in simple attire, pausing briefly before walking on, her expression serene, untouched by the pull that grips you so fiercely. She's not broke, not miserly. She carries the quiet confidence of someone whose inner world renders such temptations mere whispers in the wind. How does she, and others like her, gaze upon abundance without yielding, while the rest of us surrender time and again to the siren call of just this once? It's a contradiction that gnaws at us, stirring a deep curiosity. What invisible architecture in their minds transforms money from a fleeting lover into a faithful steward? Now, turn that lens inward for a moment, gently without judgment. When that next impulse arises, a sleek new phone case, an extra coffee to chase away the afternoon slump, or even that book you've convinced yourself you need right now, does your mind flood with justifications, weaving tales of joy and necessity to drown out the quiet voice of restraint? Or does it expand into a broader vista, holding the desire lightly like a leaf on a stream, watching it drift by without demanding you grasp it? People who never waste money don't fight their urges. They befriend them, cultivating a mental spaciousness that most of us only glimpse in rare moments of clarity. This isn't about superhuman discipline forged in some ascetic fire. It's a symphony of psychological processes, harmoniously tuned over years, that redefines value itself, not as scarcity to hoard or splurge, but as a bridge to a life of deeper alignment. Let us ease into the first layer of this inner world, the cognitive scaffolding that underpins their unshakable poise. The art of delayed gratification, a concept etched into psychological lore by Walter Mischel's landmark Stanford marshmallow experiments back in the late 1960s and early 1970s. In those studies, young children faced a simple yet profound choice: eat one marshmallow now or wait 15 minutes for two. The waiters, those who held out, didn't just snag extra treats. Follow-up research spanning decades revealed they grew into adults with higher SAT scores, better academic performance, lower rates of substance abuse, and yes, markedly superior financial outcomes, including higher savings rates and net worth. Why? Their prefrontal cortex, that executive hub of the brain responsible for planning, impulse regulation, and foresight, operates like a seasoned navigator, constantly simulating future scenarios rather than succumbing to the amygdala's primal yell for instant reward. Envision Alex, a mid-level manager in his 30s, navigating the fluorescent aisles of an electronics store during a weekend sale. Towering displays blast promotions for noise-canceling headphones, the kind that promise to melt away the chaos of his commute. The average browser, perhaps you or I on a distracted day, feels the dopamine surge, the mental math tilting toward "I deserve this after a tough week," and slides the card across the counter, only for the novelty to gather dust by month's end. Alex, however, embodies that marshmallow mastery. He pauses, his mind unfolding a mental timeline. Those headphones might dull the train ride today, but the $200 redirected to his emergency fund compounds quietly, buffering against life's inevitable storms. A car repair, a medical bill, or that dream sabbatical years from now. It's not denial, it's strategic patience, where the brain's working memory holds multiple futures in view, weighing not just cost, but cascading consequences. Neuroimaging studies like those from the Journal of Neuroscience confirm this. In high-delay individuals, the prefrontal cortex lights up robustly during temptation, overriding the ventral striatum's pleasure center, turning want into wise. This cognitive prowess doesn't stand alone. It intertwines with the enduring architecture of personality, as mapped by the Big Five model, perhaps the most rigorously validated framework in trait psychology, developed by Paul Costa and Robert McCrae. Here, high conscientiousness emerges as the cornerstone. These individuals score elevated on facets like self-discipline, orderliness, and dutifulness, viewing money not as a chaotic windfall, but as a resource demanding thoughtful allocation. Longitudinal data from the American Psychological Association underscores the link. Conscientious people accrue less debt, build wealth steadily, and report higher life satisfaction precisely because their internal compass prioritizes long-arc goals over ephemeral highs. Layer in low neuroticism, and the picture sharpens. Minimal emotional volatility means fewer stress-induced splurges, those frantic retail therapies where anxiety transmutes into shopping carts overflowing with unneeded solace. Meet Lena, a librarian whose shelves brim with stories but whose budget remains elegantly sparse. On a crisp autumn afternoon, she browses an online bookstore, algorithms plying her with recommended reads tailored to her love of historical fiction. The pull is real. The covers gleam with promise, reviews singing of escapism. Yet Lena's low neuroticism keeps her keel even. No inner storm of "what if I miss out" rocks her. Her conscientiousness whispers instead of library loans or secondhand finds, freeing funds for a writing retreat that nourishes her true passion. Behavioral economists like Richard Thaler describe this as high self-control clusters, where personality reinforces habits. Her social circle mirrors these traits, gatherings focused on shared knowledge rather than lavish outings, subtly nudging choices toward meaning. Contrast this with high neuroticism counterparts, whose emotional waves crash into impulsive buys. Studies from Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin show they spend 20 to 30% more on non-essentials during stress peaks, trapped in a cycle their calmer peers sidestep effortlessly. Flowing seamlessly from personality's steady currents, we encounter the profound undercurrents of attachment theory, pioneered by John Bowlby and empirically fleshed out by Mary Ainsworth's strange situation paradigm in the 1970s. Secure attachment, fostered by consistent responsive caregiving, births an internal working model of the world as reliable, self-as-worthy, and resources as sufficient without excess grasping. These individuals treat money as an extension of that security, not to be squandered in bids for external validation or hoarded in fear of abandonment, but stewarded with quiet trust. Anxious attachment, by contrast, often fuels overspending to buy connection, gifts that strain budgets, or compensatory luxury to mask inner voids. Avoidance styles might manifest in rigid underspending, distrusting even necessary outlays, but the non-wasters? Securely anchored, they spend with intention, their emotional framework buffering against FOMO-driven folly. Consider Raj, raised in a home where meals were modest but conversations rich, parents modeling reliability through small, consistent acts, picnics over extravagance, hand-me-downs infused with stories. Now a teacher in his late 40s, he faces a colleague's pitch for the latest educational gadget during a conference. The room buzzes with excitement, peer pressure mounting like a tide. Raj feels the draw but recalls his secure base. Money flows from purpose, not proof. He opts for free online resources, channeling savings into student scholarships, a ripple of impact far eclipsing any tool. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology links secure attachment to optimal financial behaviors. Lower credit card debt, higher investment in experiences like education or travel that build lasting equity. This emotional grounding transforms spending from reaction to reflection, where purchases must echo core relational values, nurturing bonds over buying them. Deepening further, identity models from social psychology illuminate how these minds forge a self-concept around prudent stewardship. Claude Steele's work on stereotype threat evolved into broader self-schema theories, where financial guardian becomes a salient identity facet, not imposed but internalized through repeated choices. This aligns with narrative identity research from Dan McAdams, positing life as a story with money as a plot device propelling growth, not distraction. Their redemption sequences, past splurges reframed as lessons, fortify resilience, turning potential regrets into identity anchors. Behavioral patterns amplify this. Charles Duhigg's habit loop model, cue routine reward, rewires here, adds as cues triggering not impulse but evaluation routines, rewarded by the intrinsic glow of alignment. Ponder Maria, an artist whose canvases capture human depth, yet whose studio remains unadorned by excess. A gallery sale tempts with premium paints, the cue vivid. Her routine? A breath, then journaling. Does this serve my voice? Reward. Creative flow unhindered by clutter. Over time, this loop solidifies her intentional creator identity, savings funding residencies that elevate her work. Across cultures, from Japanese kakebo budgeting, rooted in mindful tracking, to Scandinavian lagom's just enough ethos, these patterns converge, underscoring universality. Yet, no exploration of frugal minds omits prospect theory, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky's Nobel-winning insight into loss aversion. We fear losses twice as much as we value gains. Non-wasters leverage this asymmetrically, framing non-purchases as gains kept rather than pleasures missed, nudging decisions toward restraint. Kahneman's System 1, fast, intuitive, yields to System 2, slow, deliberate. A dance behavioral nudges from Thaler and Sunstein refine. Pre-commitment strategies like auto-savings or 30-day lists preempting whims. Expand to emotional frameworks. Positive Psychology's Broaden and Build theory by Barbara Fredrickson shows how their baseline positivity, cultivated via gratitude practices, widens perceptual fields, spotting value in the owned over the novel. Studies in Emotion Journal link this to spending restraint, as joy from non-material sources, relationships mastery, crowds out consumption. Flow states, per Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, further insulate. Immersion in purposeful activity renders shopping irrelevant. In group dynamics, social proof twists uniquely. Daniel Cialdini's influence principles reveal they curate reference groups emphasizing virtue over vanity, reinforcement loops sustaining habits. Evolutionary psychology adds ancestral thrift conserved resources for kin survival, a module these minds activate strongly per David Buss's cross-cultural work. Consider environmental cues. Their spaces minimize triggers. Minimalist homes per Marie Kondo's KonMari, fostering mindset continuity. Neuroplasticity ensures this endures. Repeated restraint strengthens neural pathways, as Hebb's rule. Neurons that fire together wire together. Attests. Real-world vignettes abound. Warren Buffett, epitome of deferred gratification, lives modestly despite billions. His letters extolling compound interest's magic. Or the FIRE movement adherents, channeling Big Five traits into financial independence, retiring early through systematic non-waste. Critically, this isn't monolithic. Cultural variances abound. In collectivist societies like those in Siddhama traditions, you might encounter an Awasa, communal resource-sharing tempers. Individual excess, blending attachment security with identity as village steward. As this tapestry weaves toward its close, feel the invitation to your own depths. These minds aren't alien. They're a blueprint echoing your latent potentials, waiting for the gentle nurture of awareness. What one pause today might unveil in your relationship with money, not as foe, but as mirror to unspoken aspirations? In their clarity, find yours, one discerning choice at a time. If these insights stirred something within, like and subscribe for more journeys into the human mind. We decode behavior, one layer at a time.